Live already, right? Okay. Wow, Stephanie. Hello. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Margaret. It's been a long time. Hi, Hui Kun. Hi, everyone. So sorry, I mean, today itself, like, okay, I really don't feel like making up, putting on my makeup or doing my hair. It's already 10 o'clock here in Sydney. And I thought like for once, I want to just do a Facebook Live since I'm on my own. I just be myself, okay? So bear with me. I'm naked, my skin, okay? All right, hi Poching, hi Leiby. And this is the first Facebook Live that I'm actually doing on my own itself, okay? And of course, hi, hello. Yeah, greetings from Sydney. So I mean, I know that I have actually stopped Facebook Live for at least a month because most of the Tuesday I'm actually away traveling. But tonight itself, right, okay, somehow I feel that it's a Friday, it's not a Tuesday, but somehow I feel that I need to actually do this Facebook Live with y'all. Alright, so if by any chance any of you guys, because since I'm alone, right, so your interactions is very, very important. And I need to actually refer to my iPad here because or else, right, I won't be able to see your comments. So I would really love a lot of interactions from all of you. If you have any questions to ask about like lunar eclipse, I know most of you, in fact, like some of you have actually read my previous post on like lunar eclipse before. And if you have any questions or comments, any uncertainty, any doubts, anything that you have heard before of all the pantang larangs, what you should do or what you shouldn't do during lunar eclipse, is it a good thing, is it a bad thing, should I see, should I not see, from a Chinese astrology point of view, like how do we explain it, what does it mean, what are the symptoms, I know I'm fast, okay? So please ask me questions so that you can keep the whole Facebook Live interactive. As today I do not have any guests with me here, I do have Mr. Director behind the scene, okay? He's still here helping me to like set up the whole thing. And I really hope that the Wi-Fi here is good enough to sustain throughout the whole Facebook Live session. I don't think tonight's session will be very long because I mean I'm alone and I cannot do it bilingual. I cannot do it like in 2 languages, so most probably I'll just take it to English. All right, and if you do have like any hi Annie from KK, right? Annie watching from KK. If you do have any questions, please do ask them. And of course, like the first thing is, please help me and give me some feedbacks and comments about the connection tonight. Can you hear me clearly? It's like, is it clear? Because I am also supposed to show you a few pictures on my iPad here. And then is the sound clear? All right, if it's lagging or anything, just please let me know. All right, so before I actually like go on and start off, right, okay, I would like to actually share with you all as like I know most of you have actually heard about eclipse, okay? Some call it like, you know, a lot of times if you read articles and all, they call it the blood moon. So what does blood moon actually means, okay? What is blood moon? Now, in actually, blood moon, it just means it's an eclipse going on. Because when an eclipse going on, right, okay, especially when a lunar eclipse going on, it is called a blood moon because the reflective light on the atmosphere of the earth itself, right, when it's in between the sun and the moon, it actually, how to say, reflect a certain prospect of life, light itself, that will somehow give us the visual that the moon appears, or the surface of the moon, part of it will appear red in color, instead of like totally go into darkness, okay? All right, because atmosphere of the earth itself will reflect. If you actually go into like Google or anything about it, you'll be able to find out. Of course, tonight's topic itself is not about explaining what is an eclipse from a scientific point of view, but this is actually more on the Chinese metaphysics point of view. And when I'm actually looking through the notes that I've actually prepared for tonight itself, right? Now, I might not be able to actually like, you know, look at your Facebook comments so much. So I might need our Mr. Director here to nudge me if there's any questions or if the line is lagging or anything, okay? when you're watching over there in Malaysia. And I know that KL time or Malaysia time is actually 8 o'clock now, 8:08 to be exact. And the full eclipse is going to take place tomorrow on the 28th, okay? And Malaysia time, it will actually happen in full phase about 4 something, about like 4:30 or 4:40, right, AM. Now, if you are up to it, it will be good. Hopefully you can see it clearly in KL, because normally KL is a bit cloudy. Alright, so if you can actually wake up, you want to have like a feel of it, okay, you have to look at it. And to me, it's actually like when you look at the eclipse happening itself, it's just a phenomena. Okay, it's just a phenomena that is like, wow, it is happening. But there's nothing much that you can benefit out of it. I wouldn't say that it is bad for you, because I'm going to explain here why there are certain, like, you know, older generations, our parents and all that, when they talk about like a lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, they will make it into a taboo that it is a bad thing, and they will forbid us to actually go out and look into it. Probably I'll explain more on that in terms of the Chinese metaphysics or the Chinese culture point of view. But if you ask me, I wouldn't say that it is like a taboo nor a bad thing if you want to witness it and see the amazing phenomena, right? That provided if you can actually see it from KL, for those of you in KL. For those of you in KK, probably you might have a better view, or near the coastal lines and all that. But here in Sydney, definitely, me and my kids will definitely stay up to like 5:30 in Sydney time, or 6:30 in Sydney time, to actually witness the total eclipse itself, because we purposely check into a coastal side of Sydney, where we are just facing the seaside and we're facing the beach, and we have a very, very clear view of the moon tonight, or the full moon tonight. So if it permits, if we can actually capture some photo during the eclipse, we might actually do so. If we can. If not, then I will just have to, like, you know, explain it, like, probably, like, you know, the anything amazing about it. But of course, the first thing is like, you want to look into like, what is blood moon, okay? And yes, if you do have any questions, all right, please do write it out. I might not be able to see it from here as I'm referring to my notes, so that I don't miss out anything, okay, on tonight's topic itself. Now, Mr. Director is here, Kong Yu is here, and he will actually help me to see and look into your comments, okay? If you have heard of anything relating to lunar eclipse before this, if you have heard any taboos, any pantang larangs, anyone telling you that eclipse is bad, that you shouldn't actually, like, no, look at it, any of you who have heard any of this, please write down in the comments, okay? And there are actually a list of things that in the older generations, like, you know, the older people forbids us to do. Okay, so if you have, I will share with you later on, but any of you who have heard about it, please do write it down on the comments, okay, on this Facebook live chat itself, so that you can share it with the rest of the people who might be viewing live now or later on as a recorded session. All right, so now blood moon itself, right, okay, from the Western terminology, is actually another name or fancy name you give it to describe a lunar eclipse, as I mentioned earlier. Because during a lunar eclipse, or the full lunar eclipse, right, okay, due to some reflections of the sunlight on Earth itself, where Earth appears to be in the middle of the sun and moon, all right, this light itself reflected on the surface of the moon, and it makes the moon appears as red in color, okay? All right, and then now, what is lunar eclipse first, okay? Lunar eclipse is where it's happened when the sun, Earth and moon is aligned, okay, in a straight direction. All eclipses happen when sun, Earth and moon align in a straight line, okay? So whenever this alignment happen, and you have when you have the Earth in between the sun and moon, right, if the Earth appears to be in between the sun and moon, that is where what we call as a lunar eclipse. Now, what happens during a lunar eclipse? I'm sure some of you here have actually heard about, like, you know, like the moon governs like the yin, the feminine energy, right? The emotions, the intuitions, anything which is more on the yin side. Because in Chinese metaphysics, we always look at things from the yin and yang perspective. Whereas the yang side of things, right, represented by the sun, represents our action, our external factors, everything outside, aggressive, strong, more to the masculine side of things. So if you look at the sun and moon, The sun represents the masculine energy or the yang energy, and the moon represents the feminine energy or the yin energy. So when you have a eclipse of the yin energy, like eclipse of the moon or the lunar eclipse itself, right? Okay, it's where at that particular moment itself, right? Okay, right, we has a moment where the alignment of sun and moon itself in one alignment, and now the earth is actually happening in between. Now, in the olden days itself, right, okay, we do not like to see any eclipse that's happening. Right, eclipse that's happening, people will actually claim it as a taboo. Now, from my understanding is that people will say that, oh, you shouldn't go out and watch. But if you look back into any like cultures or whatsoever, right, okay, normally they will ask people or like, the society or the people on like the lower, how to say it, the lower patriarchs, okay, the lower categories to actually stay indoor, don't watch it or whatever. But if you really do research, right, all those like shamans, or let's say they are like people who are like the astrologers, okay, who are into astronomy, even in the ancient China histories, right, these are the people who always give advices to the emperors and all that. During eclipses, whether it is solar or lunar, they will be out there observing the whole eclipse, because an eclipse is actually a divination happening to them, whether they can predict what are the things or the phenomena that's going to happen in the months or the years to come. That's why if you really Google research, right, in the ancient time, right, when they see a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, that is where they can predict how long this current emperor will be on throne, right? Okay, can they actually predict the potential of a pass on of a king or an emperor? All this happens during all these astrologies when they actually observe the moon or the sun eclipse, okay? Where else these people will tell the normal, ordinary people to stay indoor. Now, my take on this is like when they ask us to stay indoor, or when they actually ask us to stay inside instead of looking outside, what I actually perceive would be like, they could actually mean that instead of going outside and watch the moon, might as well you stay inside and look within you, okay? Because when it happens to like like eclipse and all these things, right, it is a time for lunar eclipse is a time for us, or a phrase or moment, right, during this whole period of time itself, right, where a lot of people will find that we will be more emotional. As I mentioned earlier on, right, okay, lunar eclipse relating to the moon is a yin energy, and yin energy itself, right, relates to our emotions, our intuitions, our sentiments, okay? So you will find that a lot of you, okay, during this past week, or even longer, like 2 weeks ago, the past week, especially these few days, you might be very sensitive with your own emotion. You might feel easily frustrated. You might feel easily irritated. All right, or whatever it is, you feel anxiety, you feel anxious, you are not sure, like, what is going on with your feelings inside you. Any small little things can trigger you. You can become like, irritated with things, okay? You can become angry. You react emotionally onto things like, easily, without actually or realizing why do you actually behave in such a way. Now, all these things are the impact of a eclipse, okay? Now, when you actually look into it, right, okay, the moon, when we talk about the moon itself, moon is, the sun and moon alignments, okay? Especially during an eclipse itself, when it's all totally aligned in a straight line, it is also affecting, you look at like, I'm actually facing a beach in front of me, okay? And you know that during this moment itself is where the waves are at its strongest moment. And you see even the tides is also at its highest point, right? Most of the time you will see that during a full moon, right, the tides will be on the higher point, it will be high tides. During an eclipse, if you research scientifically into it, even tidal waves and all these things will be highly affected during an eclipse. So you will see that now human is like made up out of like at least 70% of like water inside us, right? Based on Chinese metaphysics, emotions, our hormones, our feelings, and all these things are also represented by water element. So if you see that the gravitational energy in our universe itself, okay, that is surrounding us, when it aligns into such a strong pull, it will affect us emotionally. So you will find that this particular 1 week or so, you will find that we are generally more emotional. Some people will be impacted like stronger. Some people will be affected like much lesser. It depends on the configuration of your own party chart. So later on, I'm going to share with you, right, from what aspect and what angle in your party chart itself, or what elements represents the moon or the full moon. Okay, there are certain elements in our 10 stamps or the 10 heavenly stamps itself that represents the full moon. Which is that element and how is it going to affect us? But let us actually share about the moon first. Okay, and then when you look at, like, the lunar eclipse, okay, and the masculine and the feminine energy that I mentioned earlier on, right? Okay, now normally people are like afraid of eclipses. They do not like eclipse. They do not like even like like full moon and all these things, right? It is something that like people actually don't pay too much attention to it. Lunar eclipse is also like something that like people don't really like it. From the olden days, from different society and like different how to say religion background and all that, people just don't like the lunar eclipse. Okay, now you can also look into what they call the society. All this while is right, the society are more impacted towards a more patriarchal society, where we actually praise up or look up to the masculine energy, where the feminine energy are much more suppressed. Okay, so I think until like nowadays, sorry for that sound, I'm not sure whether you can hear that sound. Okay, because you can hear, obviously, like my kids are trying to be as quiet as possible, but I still find that sound very distractive. What is that going on? Can they please not do that? What is that sound? So loud?
Water.
So loud. What are they playing? They're playing with the jacuzzi, is it? Can they not play with the jacuzzi first? Okay. Alright. So when you look at a lunar eclipse, it's more looking into the feminine energy, and the solar eclipse is more on the masculine energy. And feminine energy is not something that in our society, majority of society, especially in the olden days, they do not like to look into this aspect of life. Okay, people likes to be macho. People likes to be appearing strong. People likes to be appearing like everything is good. I'm solid. I'm strong. I'm stable. I'm okay. I'm not emotional. So a lot of times when we talk about people being emotional, people will regard it as being like, oh, that is not a good thing. Okay, right? If you see people who like cries easily, who are very attached or are very in tune with the emotion, you will see that as a no-no in the society. When you see people or refer people when they are very psychic, they are very intuitive, they know they can foretell the future, they can sense the future. In the olden days, they will actually condemn them as like witches. These are bad, okay? Because people are not ready to look into the yin side or the darker side of things. But I will say that, right, okay, I'm sure all of you also now, you heard about like so much practice into like spirituality, into all this like new age things that often, okay, help people to get into our feminine side of things. When I talk about feminine, doesn't mean that it's only women going through it. The same thing also goes for men, right? Men also has this like masculine and feminine energy, so does women. Okay, all women and men has a feminine and masculine energy. So the lunar eclipse help us to actually get in touch into our feminine energy. That's why in the olden days people don't like it, because people don't like to feel their emotion. People don't like to delve into their emotions. In fact, people are not supposed to be intuitive. People are not supposed to be creative, because you, especially when I'm talking from the China perspective, right? From the Chinese culture or the Chinese perspective, is like everyone are expected to be a follower. You need to actually fulfill what the society is expecting you to fulfill. If you're a woman, you have a certain role to fulfill. If you are a worker, you have a certain role to fulfill. You are a leader, you have a certain role to fulfill. So they actually like archetype people into different roles instead of letting us freely feel into our heart or freely feel into our destiny or our soul purpose in life itself. So when we talk about lunar eclipse, now lunar eclipse is a moment where suddenly the phenomena of the universe itself, right? Okay, the energy is so aligned that everyone will be affected depending on the impact of it, how strong or how weak it is depending on your chart. Everyone will be opening up to a portal where suddenly we feel that our emotions needs to come out, our intuitions needs to come out. There are these small little voices in us that needs to stand up, that needs to voice out, that reminds us to our soul purpose, our goal. If we are on the wrong path of life, it is there to shout out to us, to show us symptoms, all right, from emotional point of view, or eventually it can also manifest in a physical point of view. And I'm going to share with you also like, now what are the emotional points of like symptoms that you might actually feel, and what are the physical symptoms that you can actually feel later on as well. Now, I am not looking at your comments. I am not sure if there's any reaction. I am not sure if there's even anyone watching, right? If you have any questions, I'm just relying on our Mr. Director here to actually shoot me back with the questions. If you have any statements or anything you want to share, I will look into it later. Please do share with me what are the things that you have actually heard of about lunar eclipse. What are your beliefs? What are the things that people tell you before about eclipse? I will really appreciate your comments on my Facebook Live here.
You saw Stephanie's comment, right?
Oh no, I didn't see any comments.
Stephanie asked about the traditional pantang in and out, so you've already explained that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I will actually explain into it even further later. All right. So let me just explain to you like what this lunar eclipse can do for us first. Okay, because lunar eclipse itself, I personally feel that it's not a taboo. It's not something that should be afraid of. In fact, right, okay, everyone that are ready to grow, everyone that are ready to go on to take charge in their life, to take responsibility in their life, to grow as a better person, to grow to their higher purpose and their sole purpose in life, you should be thankful, or we should be thankful of this particular eclipse, because it is a platform or a moment or an environment created for us to look deep into our emotions and our intuitions, especially this night, this particular lunar eclipse, because it's one of the longest eclipse of the century. And the longer the eclipse, the deeper we can delve into our deeper emotions. Because you see, if I'm not mistaken, there are some eclipses happened in 2015 that only lasted about like 4 minutes plus. Okay, earlier this year there's an eclipse that lasted about like 1 hour, slightly over 1 hour. But this particular eclipse that's happening later tonight itself, right, it will last at least 1 hour and 40 over minutes. And the longer the session of the eclipse, it means that the portal of that vacuum or the energy opens up, the door opens up for us to dwell deeper into our like inner self. Now that provided we are ready to look deep into ourselves. Okay, now a lot of people do not want to see themselves. In fact, they deny things. They don't want to look into the fact of things that's happening in their life now, or their own little truth or their own little voices of truth that urge out for them to actually make changes or change path or change course in life. But they want to deny themselves and like blind themselves by thinking with their logic mind. The logic mind or the external factors or the external distractions are all the yang energy. It's not the yin energy, because the yang energy or the masculine energy are the external energy that affect us, right? We do not want to look into exactly what we feel inside us, but instead we want to look into like what are the expectations of the external force, means the society. I can't do what I really wanted to do or what I believe that I'm supposed to do because of blah 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 blah. Like, I can't get out from this relationship because of blah 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 blah. I can't change my job, or I can't actually make a change in my job because of blah 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 blah. Like, sounds familiar, right? Okay, every one of us have gone through that, right? We find it like, the resistance is just so hard that we refuse to see that it is time for us to make changes. Now, the universe is conspiring with us, is helping us all the time to help us to move forward, to make changes, to grow, and to lift our soul to a better level. But the thing is, sometimes we just got too distracted, okay, by a lot of the external factors that we don't look into our internal self. That's why lunar eclipses needs to happen. Lunar eclipses happens in the sense that, okay, the sun now is totally blocked out from the moon with the earth in between. It means now, okay, for that particular moment in time, it is like a portal or certain doors has been shut and a certain door has been opened, that we only see the yin side of thing without the distraction from the yang side, right? We totally shut out all the external factors and we truly look into only the yin perspective of life, our inner feelings, our inner intuitions, right? Our inner callings, our inner truth. Right? And these are the things that has been climbing out inside of us. And if you're sensitive enough and you try to recall, how have you been feeling for the past 1 week or so? Okay? How have you been reacting to things when you're trapped in a jam, when you are working in your workplace, when you're in a relationship? Do you act up easily? Do you feel cranky? Do you feel frustrated? Do you get angry over small little matters? Okay, if that happens, it means that there are something inside you that wants to come out from you, right? All these things that wants to come out, when it cannot come out, your creativity, your intuitions, your inner calling, when it cannot come out, it actually manifested out as a negative emotion per se, as anger, as frustration, as anxiety, or sometimes you just feel that you're off, like something is just not right, but you're not quite sure why. I'm not sure whether you have actually had that feeling. I have had that feelings a lot of time earlier on. A lot of questions, is it?
Well, Jessie Lee says it's so true about the impact of eclipse. Now I understand why I've been feeling so down lately.
All right. Oh, Lee from Singapore, right? Okay. Yeah, thanks. I'm Lee. All right. If you have any questions, you just leave it there. I will come to the questions later because you know me, right? Once I get into the row of things, right, I prefer not to be like, stop on and be distracted because I need to explain everything, all right? Because I have gone through that myself for numerous times in my life, and those of you who know me, I've gone through ups and downs, especially when it comes to relationship issues, emotional issues, and all that. So a lot of times whenever that internal emotions that want to come out, but we just consciously try to suppress it, then it will try to push out in terms of anger, in terms of like a frustration. We just feel off. Everything just feels not quite right, but we're not sure why. So if you have that feeling, right, tonight is the best time for you to at least take a quiet moment, sit down. If you do meditation, by all means, that's the best thing to do. If not, you have any religious background, do prayers, okay, right, okay, do mantras, anything that keeps you into a meditative mode. All right, now some of you might feel that, oh, I don't meditate, I don't do mantras, go to sleep. Honestly, trust me, go to sleep with a notepad by your bedside. Go to sleep with a notepad that in case if you have any dreams tonight, wake up in the middle of the night, try to recall that dream, write it down. All right, because you see, during this period of time, because our body is always pushing us towards the more yin side of our inner mind, our subconscious. So when we go into this realm, the chances is we might even get more dreams during this particular period of time. And it doesn't stop only tonight or tomorrow after the eclipse. It won't just stop like that because time factors comes in a cycle. So you will still feel the impact of it, all right? You can even start feeling it like from 1 week ago or even more, right? Depending on how sensitive you are, right? And you will still feel it 1 week later or even more. So those of you here in Sydney and Melbourne who has made like appointments with me for your party consultations, okay, and your feng shui consultation, I would say that party consultations is the best thing for you to do during this period of time, because this is a period of time for you to actually do a reflective introspection into yourself, to find out what is your purpose, what is your goal, what exactly is it that you want in life itself that can actually make you be a better person, feel better. Okay, so again, as I say, if you can pray, pray. If you can meditate, meditate. If you do yoga, yoga. If you want to take a hot bath, take a hot bath. Anything which is yin, relaxing, all right? Anything that puts you into that deep, relaxed mode. Or if you don't do any of the above, go to sleep. Trust me. Just get yourself ready, cleanse yourself. Now, cleaning itself, you see, this particular eclipse is the best time for us to actually release of whatever things that is no longer serving us any good in life. Okay, that happens in all eclipses. Okay, eclipse is like a new phrase. When you let go of the old and come up with a new. I have a lot of sound effect here.
Nice.
Okay, alright. So it's like, so tonight itself, if you feel that you're not doing prayers, you're not doing mantras or whatever, make sure you take a hot bath, okay, or you shower, clean yourself, go to bed. Make sure you have a notepad by your bedside or your gadgets or whatever that helps you to take down notes. In case in the middle of the night you will wake up from a dream, try to remember it, jot it down. Probably in my future Facebook Live itself, we might do some like Facebook Live dream interpretations, because every dream that we have, okay, it's actually an image or powerful image that actually submerges out from our subconscious mind. So if you can actually do that, that would be great, because don't have to actually do it like really like sit down and meditate, because if you're not that type, it won't work for you. All right, so if you are more into like more comfortable, if you really can go to sleep, because trust me, our inner callings will try to reach out to us in whatever ways possible, even in your dreams. So if you are those who prefer sleeping rather than meditation, make sure you write down what are your dreams. Try to recall them, okay? And write down what are the images, what are the symbols, what are the emotions you feel in your dream itself, all right? And I promise you, if possible, right, in the upcoming weeks itself, we can actually do another Facebook Live to interpret, all right, what are the meanings of all these emotions or dreams that you are facing or you have like actually dreamt of, okay? Now, other than that, back to the lunar eclipse first, okay? Now, lunar eclipse is actually, I would say, it is a good phenomena for us to get ourselves ready for some inner growth, all right? As I mentioned earlier on, okay, a lot of time when people talk about eclipse, right, they will ask us like some taboos, right, from Chinese New Year. Have you heard that people say, oh, pregnant women don't go out to the eclipse? Because eclipse itself, right, they say this is called 食月, 天狗食月 or 天狗食日. In Chinese we call it is like, the sky dog is eating over the moon. Okay, it's a bad thing to actually go out and see, especially pregnant women, or you get like, miscarriages and stuff like that. And then you cannot go outside from your house. You have to stand indoor, hide yourself, be an ostrich, all right? Now, these are the things that I have actually explained earlier on in my written article and all that, because I don't believe as in like staying inside. If you want to run away from the bad omen, if really an eclipse is really bad energy, right, and you want to run away from the energy, staying indoor is definitely not going to help. It is a type of self-denial. It's like an ostrich. I don't see it means I'm not affected by it. Imagine, okay, we are talking about the sun and moon energy that actually impact on the entire universe that we're in now. Okay, how can you just stay indoor within that breaks of walls and you think that you're safe from that energy? It just doesn't make sense. All right, so that's why my call into when people say that stay inside, that inside means, okay, just don't go out and do too much of the yang activities. It is a time for us to be inside and look within us, stay inside us, be connected internally to look into yourself and find out what exactly is it that you want in life. Okay, and I believe that that would be more of a suitable insight to describe rather than inside four walls and a roof, because right, the sun and moon energy is much greater compared to maybe atomic bomb. Okay, so it's like how can you stay inside a house helps you to actually stay away from that energy, so it just doesn't make sense. Okay, and then try to look into all your repressed feelings, all your repressed emotions. Stay calm, don't say I don't know, all right, because if we consciously tell ourselves that I don't know, you consciously choose to not know and not see. Now, tonight is the best time for you to feel what exactly do you feel inside. Recall those feelings. What have you been feeling for the past week? If you feel frustrated, why are you frustrated? Ask yourself questions. Ask as much questions as possible so that you can actually go into the deep core of the answer. Like you're frustrated with your relationship, you're angry with your partner, you're angry with your children, all right? You are angry once you're at home, okay? You are good when you're at work, and once you reach home and then suddenly you pick a fight with your partner at home and all that. Why is this happening? Okay, right? Because it's not the external factor that makes you angry. It's the internal you that has this seed of anger that needs to come out. That's why you're angry. I always give an example. Sometimes couples tell me that, I don't know why every time I go home and I look at the house, I become angry and I want to scream out at the top of my lung. You see, it's not the house. It's not how messy is it. It's not how noisy your kids are. It is not how irritating your partner will be, right? It is you. It is us inside us. Now imagine if you have to walk back into your house one day after striking a few $1 million lottery. Imagine that you just got the news that you just strike a few $1 million lottery, and you reach home. I tell you, even your house is full of shit, you won't get angry. You won't, right? Even though your husband is like all messed up with your kids and they mess up the whole house, you still won't get angry because you have a few $1 million. Internally, the seed of anger is just no longer there. Okay? So remember, whenever we get any frustration or emotions, it's not the external, it's the internal, because we have it inside us. So tonight is the best time for us to look into it. Why do you feel some certain way? Ask yourself questions because you want to know why is it so that we can change. Now, when you look into your party chart, now, what are the elements that represents by the moon, okay, or represents the moon, okay? Right, now when you look at the party chart, right, people who are affected highly with this lunar eclipse will be those with a prominent yang metal or a kung metal in their chart. Now, yang metal itself is also seen as a moon or a full moon. Now, when you see full moon, the moon is the element that attracts water, that affects the tides of the waves and the sea and in the ocean. So the moon is the controller of the water. So does in the 5 elements in the party chart, the metal is a controller of the water, because metal is actually like, it's like the resource of the water. It controls, it attracts the water. It actually makes the water moves, okay, right, into different directions. Now, why is it the water will be affected most during an eclipse? Now imagine, right, okay, when you have a metal, when the sun is around, you don't attract the water so much. Now normally when the sun is out and the sun is out and the moon is up, that is when the tide will come in. Great, there's the impact of the moon that pulls on the tide. Just imagine that you have a metal pot, right? Your metal pot, right, you put out in the daytime, out in the sun, it won't collect any condensation of water at the pot. You leave it overnight in your balcony, especially now in Sydney here. You leave it overnight when the sun is out and the moon is up. And then in the middle of the night or early in the morning, you will see condensation. Now this condensation means that the metal attracts the water. It controls the flow of the water, okay, and attracts it to the metal itself. Therefore, in your party chart, if you find that you have a lot of metal, especially yang metal, because yang metal represents full moon, it is full. So if especially have yang metal, you will be highly affected during this period of time as well. Okay, and you can see today, all right, on the 27th of July is a day. This day, today itself is a Geng Shen day. It's a pure metal day, and tomorrow is also a pure metal day. It's a Sin Yo day. Now, I know some of you who have no idea what Bazi is. You have no idea what Geng Shen is. You just skip this particular segment. Now, this is for the students who have actually learned Bazi. You know Bazi knowledge, so that now you know how to look into, all right, okay, what elements represents what natural phenomena. So when you look at Geng, you see a full moon. And today is a Geng Shen day. And Geng Shen day, now, the funny thing is, okay, we are moving into August. And August itself is a Geng Shen month. Okay, so I will say that today marks the official entrance or the official entry into the August month or the Geng Shen month. Those of you who know Chinese Metaphysics, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who do not know, just omit this particular section. All right, and not only that, now today is also a remove day. Now, remove day, Thus tomorrow is also the eclipse, which is a full day. Now, it starts tonight. Tonight itself as a remove day is the best time for us to remove whatever negative energy, whatever things that is not serving us anymore. Now, most of the time we try to hold on to things in order, instead of growing, we hold on to things. That's why we actually depletes our growth. It actually depletes our growth because we hold on to so many things which is not serving us anymore. We hold on to a relationship where it's no longer growing us as a person. All right, in terms of relationship, we hold on to a certain career where we are actually not growing. Our soul is not growing, but we are holding on to it maybe due to security reasons, due to stability reasons. When we hold on to things, we can't grow. Okay, so now today, Gengshen Day, Remove Day. Now, Remove Day comes by every 12 days. What's so special about today that I have to actually do this Facebook Live? Now, if you check, those of you, if you have, let's see, if you have, let's say, the Tong Shu with you, if you have a Tong Shu with you, right, okay, you will see that today, the 27th, now I have screenshot a Tong Shu for you. If you can see it, you can see it. If you can't, it's okay. Try to look into your own Tong Shu, right? Am I in the right alignment? Look into on the 27th and 28th, okay? The Tong Shu here says that on the 27th is a remove day, which is a Gengshen Day, matter day. Now, remove day comes by every 12 days. Every 12 days, we have a remove day. What is so special about today and tomorrow? Because not only that today is a remove day, but today is also a remove day with a remove God. If you can look clearly, right, okay, on here, on the Tong Shu, it's well written the stars that appears on that particular day. All right, so on the 27th, you see that today actually has a remove God, and tomorrow, which is on the 28th, also has a remove God. It means the remove God actually appears. Now, remove God in Chinese called Choi San. Choi San is a remove God. Okay. Now, see, remove day doesn't really help you to remove anything. It's because it's just a day that in a cycle it just comes back on and off. Every 12 days is a remove day. Every 12 days is a remove day. When based on the astrological date selection, we don't just simply choose a remove day to remove thing, because every 12 days you can remove something. Okay, but doesn't mean every remove day is the best day to remove certain things. But today, if you look into the 27th, okay, itself you have a remove God. Now, remove God pairing with a remove day is the best day to choose for a remover of things. Plus, tomorrow is also a day where you have also the remove God. If you check on your Tong Shu, right, not every remove day will see a remove God. In order to see it is a very good thing, all right? It's not easy to find. Plus, you see it 2 days in a row. That's why today's Facebook Live is a must, because it's the best timing for you to start tonight, to think and to see into what are the things in your life that you want to remove. Now, removing is all internally, always starts with your own emotion first. What are the habits? What are the beliefs? What are the mentality? We need to look into the mentality, because metal, yang metal, governs our mindset, our beliefs, our mentality. Now, why do we get into emotional turmoil? Why do we get into unhappiness? Why do we get into emotional breakdowns and all that? Why are we unhappy most of the time? It is all relating to the metal element, because metal element or the Geng metal relates to our memory. Our mind is so detailed into a certain phase of our life. We have memories of the past. We have visions of the future. It is all in our mental mindset, because we keep thinking of the past. That will attract our water. Water means our emotion in our chart. Okay, that we keep feeling unhappy. We are unhappy over all these things because it's in our mind. Or our mind is so forward in the future that this particular matter is also, okay, attracting or moving, okay, the water in our chart itself, that we keep on worrying or anxiously looking forward for the future for things that have not yet happened. Okay, so when we do not let go of this mindset, we will never be at peace. The water in our chart will not be at peace. So today itself is the best day to work on the metal element. Okay, to work on the metal element to find out what are the memories, what are the things or the beliefs that we have in our life itself that is stopping us from moving forward. Right? We have to find that out. And people, I can tell you in your chart, people who are greatly affected by it is those of you with a very prominent yang matter in your chart, and also with the presence of the 4 graveyards, especially the dog, the dragon, the ox, and the goat. Now you see this year in a Jiwei month itself, this month is a Jiwei month, in a Wu Ship year, pure earth graveyard year, means this particular month is graveyard at its peak. Okay, graveyard at its peak means, okay, now graveyards, with the meaning of graveyards means, right, things needs to grow into the graveyards. Things needs to be buried. Things needs to actually be discarded. If you don't discard certain things, you don't do a spring cleaning, no new things will come into your life. So all the irritations, frustrations, anger, anxiety, offness that you feel is just an urge from inside of us to urge us to start discarding nonsense in our life. Now, not only will feel it emotionally, we will also feel it physically as well. Okay? Emotionally is we feel all this frustration and anger. We might have a lot of dreaming, or in fact, insomnia. We can't even sleep at night. A lot of thinking, but we're not sure what we're worrying or thinking about. These are the symptoms, okay? But other than that, we can have physical symptoms as well. And this is also why something that I really have to share with you. The 3 things that you might want to look into is allergies to the skin. Now, metal organs in our body. Metal organs means our skin itself, okay? Because respiratory system in our body, right, not only represented by our lungs, but it's also governed by our skin, because our skin is the biggest respiratory organs in our body itself. So the skin itself, when we cannot breathe means, now respiratory system is supposed to be a system for us to breathe in fresh air and discard the old and not useful air. If we can't do that, we will be suffocated. The skin needs to be able to breathe. Our lungs needs to be able to breathe. So if we consciously reluctant to release negative air in our body, we have issues that act up as allergies in the skin. We have issues relating to the lungs with a lot of cough happening. So if you find that lately you have been coughing, especially midnight coughing, it's actually a sign to tell you there's a lot of things that you need to purge out from your life. There's a lot of things that you have to bravely, courageously say out from your life. What is it that you're unhappy or happy with? What is it that you need to stop once and for all? And another thing is, I realized that you will also have leg issues. So if you feel that you have a lot of knees issues, swollen ankles, pain in your legs or your feet, all right, or any nerves issue on your feet itself, it is also another sign and symptoms that your body is telling you to move on. When you find that people who are reluctant to move on, who are reluctant to step forward in their life, these things will be manifested with a lot of pain in the body, especially on the lower part of the body, as in the legs. Now I'm sharing with you this is because I have actually experienced it for the past week, all right? And there has been something in my life itself where it is I'm in a very reluctant position, okay, when it comes to my relationship and other things. I'm very reluctant to let go of certain things. I'm very reluctant to totally let go of certain people in my life, right? And then only for the past week itself, I have this intense pain on my leg, okay? Not saying that I have a funny in my chart as well, right? Okay, so it manifested as a very intense pain in my leg itself. That's something like neuropathy. It is a nerve pain, all right? And this makes me realize, okay, one thing is there are so many things in my life that I really have to really cut the cords and let it go, all right, which I have not been, and I've been holding on to it. So this trip itself has made me realize a lot of things, that I know that there are certain people in my life that at this time, the time is up, that they just need to drift away from my life so that I can start anew. And if we don't allow this to happen, we just couldn't move on. And that has been manifested in my life as in like certain pain in my leg. And the nerve pain here, thanks to a doctor in Sydney, which is also the sister to a very good friend of mine, Dr. Tan Hui-Ni, if you're listening to this, thank you so much, because she diagnoses for me as in my nerve pain itself, right? Because I have this very weird nerve pain that only pains at night. Every night that I lie on bed ready to rest, and I can feel the burning sensation of my leg, daytime everything is perfect and everything is fine. And it made me realize that, don't you think that that is like a perfect like situations like the eclipse? Okay, because in the daytime she explained to me, I don't feel the pain is because I am too distracted by many things. My mind are too distracted with where I want to go, where I want to do, what I want to eat. All these things itself distracts my mind, that my nerves, whatever nerves, feelings or sensation I have on my feet, I don't feel it. Because there are so many other senses in my life itself that has been sensing other things. Distraction, remember? Alright, all the yang activities distracted me to feel the pain on my leg. When at night, when my mind is laid to rest, when I'm ready to rest, I'm totally relaxed. That's why I feel the burning sensation on my leg. And she says that is because the rest of the senses now has shut down. You relax, you're ready to sleep. That's why every part of the nerves of your body, you can feel it like clearly. That's when we feel the pain. Okay, and that actually explains clearly like why a lot of times, right, we don't look into our actual emotions, the inner pain that we are feeling inside of us. Okay, the anger, the frustration, the unhappiness, we don't feel it so much because we have a lot of distractions from the outside. But tonight, due to the lunar energy or the eclipse, right, where the sun for momentary for that 1 hour plus, it is shut out, okay, where we can truly look into the yin side or the feminine side of ourselves, or the energy, that we can see what are the pains that you have had in your life or you're having in your life. What are the unhappiness that you have in your life that you truly want to look into, that you truly want to discard off, you want to move on, so that you can actually re-emerge tomorrow onwards as a new person, as a new soul, and follow on a new path in your life. Okay, so that is all the whole purpose of the lunar eclipse itself. Okay, then of course besides that, what else that I want to share with you, right? Anything I miss out? Okay, any questions there? Because
Margaret
I'm not
Tan
sure.
says she has almost all the symptoms.
All right.
Yeah.
You also feel it, Margaret? Yeah, because you see, if you really see this, right, okay, these are the things like, you know, the stronger that urge of like a changing, or the urge of like the inner self wants to come out, right, the stronger the physical symptoms or the emotional symptoms that we will feel in our body. Okay, so it's the best time for us to look at it. All these small little things. Don't disregard it as, oh, it's just another cough. Nah, my legs are like that. It's always in pain anyway. All right. Nothing happens like coincidentally. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, so if you really feel all these things, take some time out tonight. All right, reflect, see into yourself, ask yourself questions. Right? Why do you feel this pain? Why do you feel such an emotion? What aspect in your life itself that you think it is time for you to actually move on? To discard of some old things, to get rid of some old things, so that you can actually move on as like a new person. Give yourself a chance to grow as a new soul. Okay, free yourself up. Okay, it takes a lot of courage. It's easier said than done. I've been through that. Okay, and I'm still going through that because we are still like evolving. Okay, we need to evolve and we need to grow. Right? Every one of us, okay, there's no the ultimate. We are not saints, we are not God. Okay, we are constantly in a world where we are in the universe where we are constantly like layer by layer growing ourselves, expanding ourselves to be a greater person. So these are the things that are the tools or the studies that help us to make this realization easier, so that now we can actually take a step to like, what is your decisions or your action now? Okay, because a lot of times too much fear in us actually forbids us from moving forward. Okay, so tonight is the best time for us to look into ourselves, to just stay calm, to see what are the things that want to come out as a sign to tell us, okay, from what aspect of life itself we have to look into to make changes, all right, and then plan out a strategic plan for it. Okay, you know it now that these are the things that is no longer serving you. These are the people that is no longer serving you. These are the situation that's no longer serving you. So what's next? What's your plan? What are you going to do? Or else it will be just another knowing, right? Without doing anything, it will phase off, and after that you will get back to the same situation until the next eclipse comes about. And you feel the whole thing again, much more intensely, okay? Until you realize it, aware of it, and do or make actions on it, then only things will change. Okay.
Stephanie's asking whether there's the best time to do this reflection or meditation or review.
Okay, now tonight onwards, I purposely check it. The dog hour, starting the dog hour, which is just now when I started. Okay, for Malaysia time is a dog hour because I know most of my viewers here are from Malaysia. So I purposely started on the dog hour because it's the most bullied hour. Okay, this year itself, the goat, the dog, okay, is a bullied hour. So I purposely started on that particular hour itself, okay, for you all to start, because dog hour is also an ending of how to say it's a graveyard as well. So from that hour onwards, okay, it will be good for you to actually start doing it. Now, those of you, since tomorrow Saturday, if you're not working and you can stay up late, the best hour for you to do it is actually the tiger hour. Now, the tiger hour is exactly the time where it's a full phase in Malaysia. I think Malaysia is about 4 something, about 4:40. Just Google it out, okay, when you reach into that maximum height. Now, those of you curious, you want to go out and see the eclipse, by all means. But you see, looking at the eclipse is not helping. It's, as I mentioned, it's just a phenomenon. It's like wow factor. Alright, the best thing is look within us. So within the yin hour or the tiger hour, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., okay, Malaysia time, that's the best timing for you to do reflections. If you can wake up early, do some prayers, do some visualizations, meditation, alright, anything. Or if you're deep asleep, okay, at that time, hopefully those are the moments where you will also get intense dreams. Remember to mark it down. Write it down, jot it down, okay? Right? If can, you can even like comment it under this Facebook live thread. Okay, what are the dreams, what you have dreamt about, what are your emotions? Take note of your emotions. How do you feel in that dream? Okay, who are the people, what are the symbols, what are the figures, what are the environment? Is it indoor, is it outdoor? Right? All this will tells you answers to the things that you need to know. Jot it down, comment on my Facebook. When I have the time, I promise you, I will answer it. Okay, relating to this thread only. Don't ask me other questions. Okay, all right. And any questions so far? Okay, any questions so far from any one of you who is watching? I hope that you understand, okay, what I've actually been saying for the past 1 hour or so. If you have any questions, do ask me. Okay. So I have some distractions here. My phone is ringing and all over. What else did I miss? Oh yeah, one thing. Okay, now from our face itself, okay, during a lunar eclipse like this, okay, from face reading perspective, it is also good for us to actually look at our face itself to see. If you want to see whether are you currently on the right path or not, right? Okay, there are few positions on your face itself that you can see how much clearing that you need to do, right? Clearing you need to do means, okay, if you find that, of course, first thing is your eye, because your eyes is the window to your soul. If your soul is so heavy, it is not happy, it is not growing, the eyes will be the first position to show. So your eyes, if you find that you have tired eyes, your eyes looks gloomy, okay, your eyes look like, you know, it is like heavy, right? It means that somehow this person or yourself is not quite happy in their current situation. So that's the first sign from face reading. And the second sign is that you can check, right, okay, is look into the sun and moon corners of your face, okay? The sun and moon corner, or we call it the Rahu Ketu corner of your face itself, is actually at your forehead or the parents' palace. Now, I have a photo here that you can have a look, okay, this particular photo over here. If you can see, right, okay, this two corner here, just right on top of your eye, on your forehead, okay, this is your sun and moon corner, or your Rahu and Ketu corner on your face itself. Okay, so if you look into this particular two corners, try to look into, those of you who are face reading students, right? Look into the chi color of this particular two corners, right? Is it vibrant, bright? That's why I don't want to wear makeup. I was like, you know, normally before my Facebook live, I will like, you know, just put on some makeup and all that, okay? But to me, it's like tonight, I just don't feel like it, right? I don't feel like putting on makeup. Okay, so it would be good, let's say, for you to actually check your sun and moon corner itself, okay, to see whether the corner's bright. Do you have any like dents or a dented? Is the chi color there is like dark or patchy? Do you have any pigmentations? Okay, anything that grows on that particular corner, okay, the two forehead or right, okay, corners itself, is also a sign to tell you that, like, you know, there's a lot for you to look into, alright? Especially if you focus on to, I mean, means for the men, okay, you look into your right corner. For the ladies, you look into your left corner, okay? Because that represents your moon corner. Look into the moon corner and see, are there any deprivation of your emotions? Have you been depriving your emotions? Have you been suppressing your emotions? Have you been happy, really expressing yourself? So these are the corners of your face itself, okay? For ladies, okay, you look into your left, okay? Your left corner. For men, you look into your right forehead, okay? To see what is the chi color at that particular area, right? Because it will tell you, have there been any deprived issue in this person? Now, why I want to share with you this is because you can start looking at your partners, your family members, your children, because sometimes, you know, because they might not be looking at this Facebook live, they might not even know what the hell is going on in their life. They might feel irritated, they might feel anger, they have issues, but they do not know why. So for you as a person who loves them, who care for them, you can check on them, check on their body chart, check on their face, then try to talk to them. Okay, try to talk to them, try to help them delve into their emotions, try to help them go into their heart, go into their feelings, try to help them be in touch with their own emotions, because probably by doing this, you might be able to help them to find some awareness, okay? But remember, you just try and do your best, but do not force it. Every realization needs to come from within a person. From the external factor, is just a stimulant for us or to help us to go easier into it, but it cannot help us to look into it if we are reluctant to do so. Okay, so we can only help and inspire them to look into it, but if they are reluctant to do it, don't force. There's no point forcing. Might as well, best is for us to actually do it on ourselves. Okay, so alright, so so far, any more questions? Okay, I really hope that, you know, if you have any questions, right, do ask. Right, so remember, right, if you hear anyone saying that, like, no, looking at the eclipse is bad and all these things, okay, you can actually start explaining to them there's totally nothing bad about watching it. But the thing is, like, in the olden days, I think in my core is people say that stay inside is just that all these wiser people or more learned people, right, okay, they just don't want us to waste time outside doing, like, watching the moon or watching the sun, or doing such physical activities which is not helping in our spiritual growth. That's why they will ask us to stay inside or stay indoor. Alright, when they say stay inside, means look within ourselves to see what are the things that we need to actually see and realize to make changes. Because remember, all the answers are within us. It's inside of us. If we really seek and look deep enough, we will find it. Keep asking ourselves the questions, alright? Why certain things happen? Why we react like that? And we will be able to find the answer, and then ask yourself, how can I overcome it now? Okay, all right. Any questions for those of you who are watching online now? Okay, hi Felix, I see you. Let's see. I see Lee in here. I see Felix. Okay, Margaret, I must learn to let go. Thanks a lot. Okay, thanks for watching, Margaret. Okay, what time should I meditate tonight? Kite, right? Kite is okay, anytime from now onwards. Okay, remember, because the eclipse itself, even though it's happening in the middle of the night, but you see, the energy, okay, or the time factor, okay, goes from phases to phases. It don't happen by that split second. Okay, all this energy, right? Okay, you can feel as if that the past week, all right, or even some of you who are sensitive enough, you can even feel it coming 2 weeks ago. Okay, and it will end all the way up to the upcoming week. Okay, so you can still meditate on it, right? Not only tonight, but even the nights after this. Okay, because the more we go into it, the deeper or the more understanding we get, okay, for ourselves. And of course, the best timing to go into it is, of course, the Tiger Hour from Malaysia time is 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And of course, those of you watching in Sydney here with me, it's also the Tiger Hours, okay, from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Sydney time. Okay, so if you can actually do some meditative or reflective thing, not necessarily must be meditate, okay, it's just reflection. If that moment you can just sit down and think and reflect the things that has been going on in your life for the past week, any small little things that make us or make you react emotionally to it, reflect on that particular situation or emotion and ask yourself why. Okay, because the more we actually reflect on it, right, reflections always turns insights into wisdom. Okay, so from that situations we learn something and we become wiser from it. Okay, you don't really have to sit down and meditate all the time, because to me it's if you don't understand the gist of meditation, there's no point meditating. Okay, right? People keep on meditating. I'm praying. I'm reading out a mantra, but I totally in foreign language that you have no idea what the mantra is, or you're doing a prayer in a foreign language that you have no idea what it means. It is not going to help. Okay, make up your own prayer if you need to. Right? Ask yourself, set yourself lines and sentences of questions or affirmations that you want to reaffirm to yourself. Do it tonight onwards, anytime. Okay? Alright, so anything else here? No? Okay, Stephanie.
Yep.
Any indication related to this if there are patches appeared lately on the other part of face besides the sun and moon corner? You mean the patches appears near to the sun and moon corner? Or other sides of the face, means the cheeks and all that, because anything that appears, yes, right, especially patches, right, pigmentations and all that, because you see, when we have pigmentations and patches that's gloomy, that affect the chi color of our face, it just means that a certain flow of energy in our body is stuck. All right, when the flow of energy is stuck, it means that our emotion cannot flow through smoothly in the body. Something is stuck in our body for some reasons. Okay, that's why all these patches appears. So when you see all these patches, right, it is also good for you if you're a face reading student. Look into where this particular patches appears, from on what particular palaces it appears. What is it relating to? Is it relating to your left cheek or right cheek, or your nose or your chin or your forehead? Because the left and the right cheek represents metal, wood element. Which is it? Is it relating to metal element, which is related to power, which is relating to decisions, actions, okay? Or it's relating to wood element, which is relating to growth, expansion, creativity? Which part of it is disappearing? That particular part or element is suppressed in your life. Okay, look into that matter, because it is going to give you a clue as well. All Chinese metaphysical tools like 八字, face reading is only a tool to tell us the answer. Okay, so whatever tools you're equipped with, use it. Okay. Alright, near cheekbone. Right, near cheekbone, yes, it is relating. Which cheekbone is it? Okay, because it's relating to either the metal or the wood element. Okay, so look into that as well. Okay, any more questions from all of you out there? Thank you so much. Okay, I know it's a Friday night where most of you will be happy hour till late night, and you still choose to actually tune in with me. I I will share with you some of the videos or photos if I manage to actually take later on, because like it's Sydney here, because we are the coastal areas, like the sky is clear. It's absolutely clear. We can see every single star. Okay, every single stars, and like the moon, and like we went to the Sydney Observatory where we can see Saturn, we see Mars, okay, and we see Jupiter, okay, through the huge telescope they have there. So it's a very like eye-opening, okay, trip for me, and not only like on the external eye, but also on the internal eye. So I'm glad that all of you at least spend this 1 hour with me despite my long absence. I'm so sorry for that again, because to me it's like I do my life, I do my Facebook live, and I lead my career and my business in a way that I feel it. So whenever I feel it, I will just pops up with a live, because sometimes I find it like it's doesn't serve the purpose or of the purpose. Is I have to purposely come out with a topic where I don't feel it, and purposely want to talk about it for the sake of just doing a Facebook live. So I enjoy sessions like this where it's random, where the signs are so clear, where throughout the whole entire trip itself, I see and I watch the phases of the moon, okay? And finally, we're here on the 15th day of the lunar moons, where it's full moon and it's an eclipse, and I believe everything happened for a reason. And I just share it today because I believe that people who can tune in tonight itself, it's meant to be, it's meant for you, the message. I hope you make the best out of it. And yeah, thank you so much for being with me. And oh, Jennifer Constant, welcome to Sydney. Okay, all right, thank you. And yeah, thank you so much. Right cheek near the eyes and nose got pimples. Nose got pimples means poor choya, Alicia. Okay, all right. So yeah. So thank you so much. It's actually quite late here in Australia. It's like 11 plus, right? And trust me, right? Australia here is like very early, and everyone is like quiet. It's so boring in that sense. Okay, all right. So it's like everyone seems to be very quiet, like very early, and yeah. So thank you so much, and I really hope that those of you who follow this Facebook Live, like please do something about it tonight. Like Lunar Eclipse, it's really a gift from the universe. Okay. Make use of this gift. When the portal opens up, look right through into your heart. Find your deepest, like most suppressed emotions and feelings that you have. If you feel like crying, yeah, one note, if you really feel like crying, let it come out. Okay, if you feel that you are angry, let it come out. Okay, right? Release all this emotion. There's no right or wrong to it, as long as you don't harm anyone. Okay, and even yourself, all right? But if you really feel the emotions, you really feel like bursting out crying, by all means, do it, okay? Right, so release yourself from all this negative, like pull down energy that's been pulling onto you for all this while, right? You deserve to go higher. You deserve to have the freedom in your life to do the things that you truly, truly want to do, okay? All right, so I wish you all the best. Alicia, yeah, Australia is boring. Sydney is already one of the most happening city, okay? I couldn't imagine other cities. All right, so thank you so much for being with me, and I really hope that you have a great night, all right? Enjoy the energy of the full moon and also the eclipse moon. And here, wishing all of you and all of us here to have a new start in our life itself with the best love and light. Love you all. Good night.